Thank you, Ron, and thank you for all the work you do. And I also want to thank Chip and Sally for the work that they've been doing throughout this whole process and really making the case. And I think they started to lay it out pretty well just a few minutes ago. The case that really is, we understand that there's savings that needs to be made, and we're glad to hold up the 911th against any other base in the country, because we know the efficiencies that are brought here, the improved serviceability that's there, and we stand ready as Allegheny County government, as we have over the last number of years, to save the military money. In fact, what we've been able to do by keeping the cost down with the land that we provide for the military, for the 171st and the 911th, is saving an estimated $10 million a year for the military over what they would be paying. So, and I do stand here united. I see a couple county council members who are here supporting this as well. Councilman Finnerty and Councilman Droz, bipartisan support for this. And you can see it on this stage with all 4 Congress representatives from Western Pennsylvania who've been fighting for this since this announcement came out. And I'm proud that and I'm proud to have them here with us tonight as we do this rally, as we send the word out that we are very much for making sure that this space stays right where it is without any closure. I think that sign really says it very well. You know, we don't want anything to be misguided, misinformed, or mistaken. Let's review it, let's go through it so we understand that we're doing the right thing, that this space deserves to stay right where it is. With that, I want to introduce our congressman who represents the city of Pittsburgh, is a most senior member of Congress at this point, and our good friend who's been fighting this fight for a long, long time, Congressman Mike Doyle. Mike.
Chip, Sally. You know, a lot gets written in the newspaper about how we Democrats and Republicans constantly fight with each other and we can't agree on anything in Washington, D.C. I want you to know something. There are no Democrats or Republicans up on this stage tonight. There's a group of Americans here, and there's not an inch of separation between us. And we have a simple message for the DOD, and it's not a request, it's demand. We want to be judged on our merits. That's all we're asking for. Judge us on our merits. That means show us the facts. Put them on paper. We want a white paper. We want to see how they can justify keeping other bases open that don't have as many runways, that don't have the services that Allegheny County are providing to this base. We want them to factor in what happens to the reserves. You know, our reserves give us the identical capability of our full-time military at an 1/8 of the cost. An 1/8 of the cost. Where does the DOD think these reserves are going if they shut down the 9/11? Where are these 1,500 reserves going to go? They're downsizing Youngstown. I mean, they're going to lose a lot of highly trained individuals, highly trained, that have been serving this country. As Western Pennsylvania has a proud heritage of serving our country, they're going to lose these individuals. They're going to lose the services. We're right here by the airport, 4 runways. County provides the fire protection. We share services with an international airport right next to us. There's no way in God's earth that these other bases that are housing some of these C-130s have the efficiencies and the kind of savings that we have in Pittsburgh. That's why we just want to be judged on our merits. These guys are trying to ramrod this decision through before we get a chance to see the facts. And I promise you this delegation is not going to let them do that. We have great partners. It's my privilege to introduce a friend and colleague of mine, Tim Murphy and I. have had the pleasure and privilege of serving together for quite some time. I want to tell you, Tim has been a real fighter in this too. I say that proudly. I don't care what his party registration is. This guy's up there fighting for us on this 9/11 basis. We might fight about other things, but boy, we're all together on this one. And Jason and Mark, two of our newer members of Congress, have been with us too. But it's my pleasure to bring my friend and colleague, Tim Murphy, someone that's really been fighting.
First things first, the commissary is going to be built. They were going hard on that thing. A couple paperwork glitches. It's coming. Don't you worry about that. After all, where'd the term snafu originate, right? Come on. Thank you, Chip and Sally, for your work. Thank you, Ron Conley, Chief Executive, my colleagues, and a special thank you to all the Guard, Reserve, active duty, and retired in the audience. Thank you so much for your service. When we were going through the bracket closing in 2005, I remember meeting and speaking to the BRAC Commission. And after giving them a host of reasons of all the things that they were misunderstood about this Air Force base, not enough land, not enough room for planes, couldn't land big planes there, we hit them one point after another of facts and realized it wasn't as if they reviewed the facts and found them wanting. It's that they hadn't reviewed them at all. We're in a similar position. But one of the things I also said is, given the history of our nation, and given the things that our nation has been challenged by and tasked with, can you really close a base called 9/11?
Right. Right.
We have fought this battle before, and we fought it again after that. We're now fighting it once again. It is a battle for the facts. It is a battle for our passion. It is a battle for our community. Now, when the news of this first came out, there were some people out there who spoke, whose mouths were engaged before their mind was. And they said things like, maybe we don't deserve it. They're wrong. They said, maybe it isn't cost effective. They're wrong. And they said, we think you're just being parochial and thinking about this base and just what it means to Pittsburgh. You're right. It is important. Because this does mean a lot to our area. As Sally and Chip were saying, the economic impact of this is huge. $114 million a year. The cost of this base versus other ones has been pointed out before as an astronomical difference. Where else can you get 4 10,000-foot runways, fire, police, security, and control tower support for low price of $20,000 a year? Now, let me say this. I'm a member of a Rotary Club. Brian Schill, where are you, Colonel? Colonel, he runs that Rotary Club. And we have an annual chicken barbecue. We usually raise about $28,000, $29,000. Brian, if they need the money, let's have a Rotary Club chicken barbecue and pay for the dang thing, huh? When we first met with General Breedlove a few weeks ago, and I want to say, I say this with utmost respect. As members of Congress, we have nothing but respect for our military in every way, and we're not at all insubordinate to this, and I got to be careful. I'm a junior officer in the Navy, and they would have a way of getting to my head, no? But we say this with the highest respect. I think they want us to back down. They don't know Pittsburgh. I think they want us to ignore this and hope it'll go away. They don't know the fight we're willing to put up with. I think they want us to dismiss the facts and walk away. We're not going to do that. You know, an admiral was once asked some things about the Navy, and he coined a great phrase. He said, not on my ship, not in my Navy, or not on my watch, not on my ship, and not on my Navy. I would extend that a little bit here to the Air Force and say, when it comes to making decisions without looking at the facts, I'd say not in my 9/11th, not in my town, and certainly not in my America. You have to look at the facts. The best. We recognize when you look at what's the ranking of the 171st as the premier air refueling wing in America, why would you cut it down? That's like saying the Pittsburgh Steelers won a Super Bowl and to save money, we're going to get rid of their first string. That's not what you do. You don't cut back your best and your brightest and most efficient and most effective. You look at other ways to save money and find that by doing things the best, you save money every minute, every day. When you look at the superb performance of the 9/11 and all the money that's been invested in that base with new buildings, new medical areas, new roads, new security areas, a new building that's not even finished yet. When you look at the fact that the Navy's going to be doing groundbreaking sometime in the next couple months to move the NOSC Pittsburgh over there, and we hope the Marines come too. Always love the Marines. Why would you throw away all that investment and walk away? It doesn't make sense to do that. Certainly not. So, let's talk mission here, right? Let's talk our mission. Here's our job. Members of Congress have signed letters to go to the President of the United States. We cranked out as soon as we got word of that. We got it right out. We have not got a response. We sent letters over to the Secretary of the Air Force. Also, our senators sent letters over. We have not received a response. Last week, Senator Casey and Congressman Kritz and I, and the other members couldn't make it, but we spoke in their behalf. We once again asked several generals in the Air Force, can we see the paperwork? Can we see what you've done? They promised they'd have it for within 10 days, which I think Mark now has about 5 days or so they're due to give that to us. Here's what we're going to do. When we get that information, we're going to release it to all of you. We need everybody to look that paperwork over. Everybody. In every way. We need your ideas, we need your feedback, we need your input, we need your calculators, we need your analysis. On every level. Civilian, citizen, employees, non-employees, active reserve, county, state, federal, we're all going to look it over. We're going to respond to that. Because we're not backing down. We will not let go of our mission. We will be there to the last man, to the last minute, and we will make sure we get all the facts on the table. We're going to do this. We have a lot of hard work before us. But make sure everybody gets engaged. And look at this. Who would have thought on a beautiful night we'd get nearly 300 people out here to drive out to Oakland from that area? You do it because you're dedicated. But behind every one of you, you know lots of people through emails, through your community. Energize, folks. Let's get involved here. You with me? All right.
Thank you, Congressman. And he's right. To have so many people out supporting this shows the community support that is here for maintaining and keeping this base. Next, I want to introduce somebody else who's been fighting this fight for a long time and is standing with us and supporting us. And as Congressman Doyle and Congressman Murphy both said, we're all united on this tonight. You know, we might have our battles, one party or another, one part of the region for another, but tonight we're all united. And Senator Casey and Senator Toomey also stand with us. But right now I'd like to introduce Congressman Altmaier, Congressman, to come up, say a few words and talk about the battle he's been leading for us on keeping the 9/11. Congressman?
Most importantly, thank you to those in the audience, almost everybody here, who has served the country. Thank you for what you have done. Thank you for my family and I are thankful every day for that sacrifice, that there are men and women who are willing to put their family on hold, put their careers on hold, to serve this nation, to serve us. And Pennsylvania has done a disproportionate share of that volunteering through the bases that we have. And you have members of Congress, elected officials from all across the region who want to support you by helping with this cause. And we have every level of government, Republican and Democrat, House and Senate, municipal, county, state, federal, everybody is united from this region to help make this happen. We've done it twice before. We won the fight over the commissary. We can win this fight. But look, and I see some signs, support your hometown air base. That's what this is about for us. We understand the significance, and we've all talked about the jobs and the economic impact that it means for this region. But that's not how we're going to win this, because every region is going to fight to save a base when it's threatened for closure. I can guarantee you this group and the people in this room are going to fight a little bit harder, a little bit stronger, and a little bit more successfully than others have done. That's not in question. But the reason we're going to win this is because the facts are on our side. This is of strategic importance to the Air Force. This is in the best interest of our country, not just Western Pennsylvania, not just our region. This is in